Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be discussing the newest makeup announcements and releases. Welcome back, and today we're going to be discussing some of the newest makeup announcements and releases that have been made in the week or so. And yeah, it's been quite of a, I would say, indie brand heavy launch week when I went through my sort of Instagram folder when I looked through the launches, and it seems that now first we got the sort of main, like sort of mainstream brand holiday launches, and now we're starting to finally get in maybe also some fall launches, so that's a bit of an interesting order we're having things. And yeah, but I'd say we are having quite a few of like palette launches. I'll be discussing what palettes I've been sort of eyeing and what I will be skipping, and yeah. So some sort of like public service announcement. On the day that I filmed this, Monolith shop had their September launch. However, I ended up not shopping the launch because Dior had their holiday launch happening in the European website. It was just during Friday, and I was like scrolling through my Instagram when I woke up on Friday morning, and then I saw that someone had posted they had the gift sets on the website. Then I went to the European website, and then I saw that okay, it's not on the gift set, but actually the Dior holiday collection, like special edition makeup, was also available, and I just went straight and bought a couple of things. I did post the items on my community tab, so you can check what I got, but let's just say that my makeup budget for this month has been used up. But luckily we're going to be having October soon, so we are going to be then, probably there's going to be more holiday launches that I'll be buying during the October, but I think there might be a couple of indie launches also that I am kind of eyeing that I could maybe fit into my makeup budget. But that's a bit of like what is sort of coming up maybe in some future on my channel. I do remember that Dior's shipping from their website, it's not the fastest, even though the stuff comes within European Union, but because they ship from France, it can take quite a while. And oddly enough, even though Dior is a luxury high-end brand, they don't really offer expedited shipping, at least to my country, which is pretty... You would think that a luxury brand, they would kind of like maybe put effort also to the whole like shipping process, but no, there's just like basic great shipping that you can... Well, I think I actually got my shipping for free since I did shop quite a few items, but there's no like expedited shipping, so I think I'll have to waiting a bit over a week to get my Dior stuff. And also my flower nose order that I did already make some time ago, that has finally gotten into our country. It has taken quite a while. I'm going to be talking a bit more about the whole ordering process once I get the items in, and I'm going to film in my review, but because this is my first time ordering from Flower Nose, I also do want to discuss about the ordering process, because let's just say that the shipping, it has taken quite a while for the stuff to come. But I'm hoping that the Flower Nose stuff, once it's already been custom cleared, because Flower Nose did handle the sort of value-added tax and processing fees related to that, so it has gone through already customs, and I think it's gonna get to the courier somewhere around next week, so I'm hoping that it's gonna be delivered within at the end of this week that this video is going live. But let's start talking about now the new things that I haven't at least so far bought. First launch of the week that we're discussing, and this is a brand that I don't cover often because this is another brand that's quite hard for me to get, and also I'm not that usually interested in of the releases. So r.e.m Beauty, which in Europe is a mostly Sephora exclusive brand, so you kind of do have to have a Sephora in your country in order to shop this, at least here in Europe. They have come out with a second addition to their Wicked collection, because I think there's now a second movie, and they did do also the first collection. I have to say I am quite a bit more like interested in the items, even though this is not a collection that I'm going to be getting, but if this would be more accessible to me, like I think this is better than the first one. I am liking the sort of face palettes. I think the eyeshadow palette is pretty cool. It is sort of like green with green tones mixed with neutrals, and I am kind of liking also the set, so they have a separate set for each of the like main characters. When is this gonna be? There isn't in the post, it's not said when this is going to be launching, but I assume it's going to be launching pretty soon. But I do have to say this is better. I don't think I was that into when the first collection like launched with the first movie. I think that was a bit meh, but I actually do kind of like the execution. I actually did end up looking, because I think r.e.m Beauty, is it owned by Ariana Grande? Someone please correct me in the comments. This just shows how I'm out of it in terms of the like current celebrities. But I did actually end up watching her sort of reveal video where she went through with all of the items, and I do think there are some actually kind of nice items. So r.e.m Beauty, because it's not that expensive of a brand, so if you're shopping a Sephora in Europe and you're looking for something a bit more inexpensive but still something pretty nice looking, the r.e.m Beauty, like maybe this collection could be something to look into. We have a Halloween launch, so Louise, this actually just launched also on last week's Friday, and there's quite a few items in this Halloween collection, but Louise does a lot of skincare these days, because that's something that seems to sell, especially with the Louise customer, who is usually someone a bit younger than me. They are more like advertising them, like their products to, I think, teenagers and maybe like those who are like in their early adult ages, but this is also like, there was some makeup items in the launch, and this was, I think, the like most notable one. So this is one of their like it's the book style palettes that has like 3 different like layers to it, and you can kind of see the color stories. And there is apparently that if you are ordering their budget box, I don't think by the time this video goes live you aren't able to order any longer the Halloween themed one, which is something you had to order during September. But if you did manage to order the September budget box, which actually ships in the beginning of the October, 100 of those boxes will include this item, and because there's like also another eyeshadow palette included in that budget box, so some of you who did manage to order the September budget box, you might be getting this one if you are kind of lucky, but you can buy this also separately on their website. The price of this one is around 50 euros, which I do think, considering the amount of eyeshadows you're getting, and considering that I do think Louise's current formula is actually quite good, I think this might be quite similar to the holiday palette formula they had last year. So if you are interested in just getting these sort of like colors that are in this palette within quite a way, it's not cheap price, but I would say it's pretty like quite reasonable price considering the formula and the sort of shades you're getting. So you could look into this and consider that is this something that would fit into your budget if you are into these kind of color tones. Then a release that I was thinking that did these really sell that well. I can actually say I'm actually wearing a Patrick Ta palette. I'm wearing the, what was it? Was the original? It's not the... So I'm actually currently testing this one, and this was the OG palette. I didn't get the sort of rosy toned one because I have the Makeup Revolution dupe for that, but this is actually the first time I'm trying any Patrick Ta. But as you probably guessed, so we're covering the shade extension of the infamous eyeshadow duos. Considering that I just first time today tested out the shimmer formula that's in the like regular palettes, I do have to say it's a nice shimmer formula, but is it worth the price? Because these are like horrendously expensive. These go around 46-48 euros, I think, on Cult Beauty's website. And these did get a lot of crap when the original line of these was released, but somehow these still apparently sold out, at least in the US Sephora's, and I do think maybe also in Europe when these came out, this might also have been something that people bought. So apparently there is a customer market for this one. I'm just thinking that these are like almost 50 euros and you're getting 2 shimmer shades. They are apparently very nice shimmers, but are they 50 euros worth? Well, apparently a lot of people think that they are. So there are 4 new shades. I am kind of liking, there is the one like champagne-y, what was it? In Your Dreams, I think is the duo called that I'm like eyeing the most, and these are like, I think some of these are a bit close to the original ones. I do think there was Patrick Ta did post a swatch comparison swatching these and the original ones, so maybe look into sort of bit comparisons that if you are eyeing these new ones, that are they close to the ones that you maybe got if you did buy the ones that were released on the first launch. But these are already going to be, these are available, these are actually already available by the time this video goes live, so they are already available in early access, at least in the US Sephora's, and I think it means that they're soon going to be available also to the rest of us. But yeah, I'm amazed that this did indeed sell so well that it was worth it to extend the line of this one. I think if I would be able to, because I actually did get the Patrick Ta palette that I just showed to you, I did got that because Cult Beauty runs regularly minus 20% off on their website, and for me Cult Beauty is a place that I can access Patrick Ta the easiest. So on a 20% off, I do think they're still a bit expensive, like maybe around 20 euros would be, and that's obviously because Patrick Ta is a pricey brand. I don't think there would be unless these would be on clearance, then maybe they would be 20 euros, but I still think even with a minus 20% discount, these are still pretty expensive. But if you like these and you want to get more of them, these are going to be available soon in different retailers. Suqqu's holiday collection, we are seeing some pastels. I think NARS also had some pastel tones in their sort of holiday eyeshadow quad, so that's an interesting trend. I think the lilac pinky one is a quad we have seen before, but I do kind of like the quad, at least in terms of Suqqus, how versatile their shade lines usually are. I do think the orangey yellow quad with a pop of like icy blue, I do think that's actually a bit unique for a high-end brand. There's also, I think, some lip balms included, or like lipsticks and lip balms included in this launch. I do have to say, from high-end like luxury brand launches, this is bit more on the unique side of things. Still not something I'm interested in getting, but if you've been waiting for Suqq's holiday collection, I think because it's now been revealed, they assume that it's gonna be available soon in different retailers. e.l.f. is launching a holiday set with their lip glosses, but I think this might be a new formula. So this is lip kit featuring 4 lip plumping oils, yeah, because the original lip oils actually do have one of them in my sort of like makeup drawers. That's not a plumping formula, it's I think a regular like lip oil lip gloss formula, but I think the new thing is that this is supposed to be a plumping. Interesting to see, is this one of the burning ones or the ones that have the cooling effect? I can kind of get behind if there's a menthol effect on a lip product, then it's not so bad, but if it's one of those that burns, then it's I'm automatically out of it. I mean, I do think like there's a couple of more sparkly ones, and then a few of these are not so sparkly, but I tried the original lip oil formula and it was an okay formula, but it wasn't something that went me out to like got me thinking that I have to go out and buy more of them. But if you are looking to buy a sort of lip oil set that has plumping effect, then this is going to be, it's already available on e.l.f.'s own website and it's $32. And probably when the holiday kits are gonna start trickling down to drugstores, then this is probably gonna be available also in stores. Advent calendars, yes, we are not done with the Advent season, even though I did say in the intro that we are kind of having more fall and Halloween launches in this one. So LH Cosmetics is launching an Advent calendar, and I'm gonna, again, full spoilers are gonna be included in this video, so if you don't want to get spoilers from Advent calendar, skip this part. There's a timestamp in the timeline section. So LH Cosmetics is also doing this makeup style bag kind of a advent calendar. We have now seen quite a few brands using this similar style. Catrice's advent calendar is also in a sort of makeup bag. And I think Glosscoats, which is an indie brand, their advent calendar, it's not technically in a makeup bag, it's in a full-on like a duffel bag, I think. But we are seeing now quite a few advent calendars that they are not in this sort of traditional cardboard packaging, but they are in this like there's some kind of bag and then you take smaller bags out of it. And LH Cosmetics, I did recently review their eyeshadow palettes in my sort of mega eyeshadow palette review that's already available on my channel. I'm also going to be filming my sort of other makeup item review video after this one, where I'm going to be reviewing one of the stick blushes they have. And it is a very, what I would say, stellar quality, sort of mid-range, high-end, depending what kind of product you're buying from them. Their pricing are from the mid-range to like up to 50 euros. So I think if you are liking the brand, I actually do think the contents of this one are quite good. There are some advent calendar exclusive items also in this one, and all the items I think are full size in this one. This is also because it's a full size, it has full size items. It is on the more expensive side. This I think was around 250 or 60 euros, so it's a bit more pricey, but you are getting only full size items. And I do think the items included in this one, this would probably be a very sort of like good makeup advent calendar of someone like who likes to do creative things with their makeup, but they also want some everyday staples. So I think for that kind of consumer, this would actually be a pretty good advent calendar. I still haven't decided what kind of advent calendar I want for Christmas, which is a bit bad because some of the makeup advent calendars have already been sold out because yes, they come so early already. So, but I think during the October I'm kind of gonna make my decision how much money I want to spend in one. But I have decided that I do want some kind of advent calendar for Christmas, but we shall see which one and how much budget do I want to spend for that one single item. But the LH Cosmetics one, this I think is one of the better value ones. And if you are especially someone who likes full-size items in their calendars, I think you're gonna love this one. This launch on the Monolith shop launch during this Sunday, so this is the Glaminatrix and Monolith shop collaboration. I think it's quite nice that we got a collaboration with a indie makeup brand retailer and an indie makeup brand, like that's kind of cool. So this is called the Crown Legacy palette, and it kind of has this sort of jewel-toned royalty inspiration behind it. I think this is quite pretty beautiful, and Glaminatrix pricing is quite competitive, so this was under 50 euros when I checked it on Monolith's website, but It's a pretty green heavy palette. We are gonna, it seems we're still having this trend of having green palettes with a pop of other colors, because we saw quite a few of these during the summertime, and this isn't the only greenish palette we're featuring in this video, let's just say that. But yeah, I do like if this would have had maybe less green and maybe more pinks and maybe reddish tones, maybe I could have been more into this, but there's greens and there's also a few blues in this one, so it's a skip from me. But this is available from Monolith shop's own website, and it's quite nice that they actually did get a collaboration of their own. Nabla's advent calendar is also up for pre-order. You can't apparently pre-order this from other European countries. You can only pre-order this from Italy because Nabla is an Italian brand. But they did say on their Instagram comments that when this goes to the actual sale, then you're able to access this also at least from other European countries. Don't know about other international customers how the shipping from their website goes. I think this is a very nicely curated calendar. I don't think this is the best value necessary. You are getting, I think, only full-size products, but you aren't getting, unlike with, for example, the LH Cosmetics one, which is a full 24 door calendar. I don't think this is 24 doors. I think this might be a 12 or 15 door one. But I do have to say, when you look at the creation of the items and also the design of this calendar, I think this is more of a, I think this would be a very nice and thoughtful maybe gift to someone who likes a certain kind of makeup aesthetics. I don't think necessarily this isn't for everyone, because there are some quite punchy also colors in this one, so maybe not to the everyday makeup user, but to like someone maybe who is a makeup lover, and maybe someone who would like to try a variety of Nabla makeup. So maybe for that kind of person this could be good, but this isn't necessarily what I would say the best value, because again, we're not getting the full amount of doors, and this is on the pricier one. I think they're claiming, yeah, that this has 285 euros and 60 cents of value, and I wasn't able to check on their website because if you try to access this from outside of Italy, then they kind of direct you away from the pre-order site. So I wasn't able to yet check how much this is full price, but I think last year the Nabla's advent calendar, which had similar amount of items, I think it was between 120 or 150 euros, so not the best value, but I do think the curation, how this is done, is one of the better ones. Moira is launching a lip product with a poof. I really would not like the makeup products with poofs. I think I'm a bit over the, I usually take the poof off from all the makeup products, usually the blushes and highlighters and contours that we now have been seeing with a poof. I just take the poof off and then put the product directly to the back of my hand and apply it from there. So what is this one? A buttery soft blur with bold pigment with every swipe. So it is more of a, what I would say, smudge proof, transfer proof. So I think it's a more of a matte formula. Yeah, I just checked the images that models wearing this one. So it is more of a this sort of blurring matte kind of, I would maybe think like maybe a moussey formula, because it has the sort of proof applicator. Not something I would be into, but I do think Moira does quite extensive shade ranges in terms of their products, so I think there's a color for everyone. We have some brighter shades and some more neutral shades, but for me this is just not the type of applicator that I want to have in my lip products. Fenty's advent calendar has also been revealed, and as always this is only a 12 door one. I don't think there's been any year that Fenty has had a full-on 24 door one. I think they have always done a 12 door one. This has the pink and black design that is that their holiday items have this year. I think the Fenty's advent calendar, this also goes to the category of advent calendars. This is relatively pricey. I don't think the price advantage you're getting from buying this calendar versus getting the items individually is that great. But if you are maybe again shopping for someone who wants to try a variety of Fenty products, this could be a good gift. But necessarily for the best value advent calendar, and also just looking at the items, because this is a mixed calendar. You get the makeup products, but there's also I think some of the skincare and hair care products that the brand has. So for me, not the best one, but I think for someone maybe that wants to try a variety of Fenty products, this could be a nice gift to get. Glamshop is doing another sort of individual product release. I think they are doing this quite a lot these days instead of launching full-on collection, and they are coming out with, I think, stick blushes, and then there is a stick bronzer. I have nothing against this one, but I think I'm pretty good with the blushes and stick bronzers that I have, and also just generally I don't think this is that different like Glamshop, because they have quite an extensive line for especially being an indie brand. I'm not necessarily don't see does this add anything, because they do have quite a variety of different blush formulas. I don't think they have had a staple line of blush sticks. They might have had some limited edition ones, but I do think as a staple line product this is a new launch, but this isn't, I think, anything necessarily exciting to add in terms of their like full-on makeup line, because they do have like different formulas of cream blushes in their line already. But I think this is already available on their website, so if this is something that interests you, you are able to get this one. Then I think the most disappointing launch of the week. So Anastasia Beverly Hills has launched a new mini palette, which I was initially excited. I was like thinking that, hey, the Christmas palette that I got from them last year, awesome. So this is going to be called the Embers palette, and it has this sort of dark green packaging, and it has a couple of pop-up greens, but otherwise this is a very muted looking neutral palette. And the most upsetting thing is that where are the nice sparkly shimmers that we had in the holiday palette last year? Because this has it almost looks like it has more like satin shimmers rather than like actual like shimmer, like sparkly shimmer shades. Someone did post on Instagram about this, that this actually looks like a miniature version of the Makeup by Mario collaboration that ABH, that's like old makeup YouTube stuff, so if you weren't around and you're like asking what am I talking about, ABH, when they still did the rectangular palettes, they had this very successful collaboration with Makeup by Mario. Mario back then didn't have his own brand. And I think that was the palette that it was truly a limited edition. I think it sold out, and I think all the influencers and everyone who managed to get the original palette, they bragged about it even years after getting the palette, because it was such a hype palette. However, I think this color story like condensed kind of shows that what we thought was exciting like during the old makeup YouTube isn't so exciting anymore. But if you were kind of maybe like missing the color story and you were kind of thinking that why can't ABH like bring something back, I think this is the mini is actually quite close. When I looked at the comparison photos, I was actually like thinking that, yeah, that I can see why people are saying this looks like the ABH Makeup by Mario collaboration. But I'm pretty disappointed that we're not getting the sparkly shimmers. The shimmers look very muted, almost satin-like with this one, but yeah. I think this is going to be available soon at different retailers, but this is a skip for me because I want my sparkly shimmers. This is dull. ILIA is coming out with their sort of holiday collection, and they are launching face palettes. I did have to like blink a couple of times because these look identical to the face palettes they have last year, and I think even the outer packaging looks kind of similar. So I don't know, is this the fact that are they just maybe recycling their Christmas launches? Brands sometimes can do that they don't really come out with something new, that they maybe just like put a new packaging to it and call it a day. These are going to be priced $59 each, but yeah, I'm baffled. For me, these look exactly like the face palettes they had last year, so yeah, not something I am interested in. When we spoke about OG Makeup YouTube, this would be something that I would have been like drawing over during 2016 and 17 when I was just getting into Makeup YouTube and when I still didn't have an extensive makeup collection. So Davini Beauty is coming out with a sort of new eyeshadow palette. What was this called? Viva... Siempre Viva. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. So this is essentially a purple, pink, bright punchy palette, and the OG me who was just getting into makeup YouTube would have been like screaming over this one and doing ordering this all the way from the US and not caring about the extra customs and do this, because back in 2016 and 17 we didn't have Monolith shop here in Europe. If we wanted to get a US indie brand, we indeed had to order them from States, and it took a while to ship. It was almost always very costly and everything, so it is better. This is going to be on the Monolith shop October launch. I do think Monolith did announce on their socials that this is going to be on their October launch. I think the 2025 me, however, is going to say that it is very beautiful, but I already have these colors in my collection quite many times, and my makeup tastes have adjusted ever since the time before pandemic, and I was still in university in 2016 and 17, so it's been that long. But yeah, anyway, beautiful color story, and for the nostalgia value I can value this, but the makeup user me currently, I don't need this because I do have the punchy pinks and lilacs in my collection. But if you've been eyeing for a punchy pink and lilac palette, then this could actually be something to look into. My experience with the Davini Beauty formula, it was bit of a hit and miss. I did have the Davini palette, which was their sort of neutral palette. Some shades worked out, the shimmers were quite beautiful, with some mattes I had issues, so I'm a bit unsure how this ranks against the Davini palette, but it is, I would say that I can still appreciate this even though I'm not gonna be buying this. The next green palette in this video. So Nomad Cosmetics came out with the Pacific Northwest collection, or an eyeshadow palette, and I think there's some merch items in this one that haven't been yet shown. I'm not usually a fan of greens, but the tones of greens that have been chosen for this one are very specific ones, apparently the ones that are picking my brain and saying that this could be very nice palette to get. It is more muted green palette, and there's also some teals in it. I think that's the reason why this is appealing to me, and then we do have some like neutrals to balance things out, and the shimmers look like very nice in this one. This is going to be already available by the time this video goes live, so Monday 29th, so I think I'm not going to be able to get this out until Wednesday or Thursday on the upcoming week, so this is going to be already available. And this is not going to be a limited edition one, you are able to get this for some time, so if you for some reason can't get this currently due to budget or other reasons, you don't have to worry, this is a limited edition. This isn't a limited edition one, but I am eyeing this because this looks very... Something in this is very appealing, even though it has color story that I'm usually not into. Then bellabeautébar's Dark Dreamscape collection, and this is also a Halloween collection. I kind of do, if you have to give me blue and purple palette, this would be quite close to something that I could be into because again of the tones of this one. There's also a highlighter in this one. I checked Ali Dawson got this on her like PR, and the highlighter is this very glittery shimmery highlighter that's gonna be screaming texture if I would get it on my skin. So safe to say with the highlighter we are out. Also I did check she had all the lip balms, so that they are more like pigmented lip balms, that's why I think they look more lipsticks in this image, but for me they kind of look the kind of lip balms that I wouldn't like, and then there are some individual shades, but the palette itself, bellabeautébar, this is probably going to be hideously expensive because they use so many special shades. Monolith shop again did say this is going to be coming to October launch, so if you live in Europe, wait for the Monolith launch. But even though there are like some sections of this palette that I'm actually kind of liking quite a lot, I do think overall, because it is at the end of the day still a blue-purple heavy palette, I don't think I would be getting that much use out of this variant to buying this because it is going to be probably like close to 80. Usually bellabeautébar's bigger palettes, they've been around like 80 euros or so, depending on again how many special shades this has. But this I think is one of the few bellabeautébar palettes that I've been really like thinking that, oh, that is actually quite of an interesting color story that I am kind of interested in. But because of their pricing, I think I'm gonna be out in terms of this one. Then the last launch of this day, so when we discussed Makeup by Mario, so Makeup by Mario is having his yearly holiday palettes release, so it seems that he only comes with these special edition eye palettes for the Christmas market, which kind of makes sense. So what was this one called? Ethereal eyeshadow palette in nature. This looks just like the original eyeshadow palette he came out 2 years ago, except it has a pop of green. I'm just gonna say it out loud. When you look at the other mattes, it is very close in terms of especially the warm tone peachy shades that are in this one. They do look quite close to the original one that was launched 2 years ago. I have said this before, Makeup by Mario is a Sephora exclusive brand here in Europe. It is quite difficult to get. I have been into my warm tone neutrals and I'm not actually mad about that because I don't obviously have the original one because it's such a hard brand for me to get, so yeah, I don't think I'm going to be traveling to any country that has Sephora, so maybe this is again going to be going to the category palette. I'm just going to have to admire from afar and call it a day because of the accessibility, but I think if you did get the original Ethereal Eyes palette a couple of years ago, I don't think you need this for the couple of pop of greens. I think it's actually a bit of a shame because last year at least we did get it was a neutral palette, but because it was a cool tone neutral palette, it was at least distinctly different from the original one. But this one I think is just that we switched a couple of shades to the muted green ones and called it a day. So yeah, I think like if you obviously didn't get the original palette a couple of years ago, then this actually could be a pretty good palette to get because then you could kind of get I think most of the shades with just a little bit variation. But Yeah, I don't think this is different enough from the original one, but hey, who am I to talk, because again, I can't, like, getting this would be difficult, and that's the reason why I still don't have like that many. Like, I have only one Makeup by Moira product because I was able to shop it at Sephora during summer, so I think that tells everything that it's to be said about this one. Those were the launches, not so many I think, but there were like, I think indie brands are now getting back to their sort of releasing cycle, which is quite nice. There's also going to be a few indie brands that I'm not going to be able to cover, but I think I'm going to pop in the pictures. So Angelica Nyqvist and Sinch Beauty are going to be having their fall launch. It's going to happen on... And she said she's gonna do the launch video, I think, on Monday. So I think for the editing, if the whole... I think there's gonna be an eyeshadow palette, but she said it's a full-on collection. So if there's a palette and other items, I might sneak peek it on the... Like, you're gonna see the image here. And I think Fantasy Cosmetica is another brand that they're meant to do the reveal just this Sunday when I'm filming this, but it wasn't revealed yet when I was filming. So also with the Fantasy Cosmetica launch, we're gonna be discussing both the Sinch Beauty and Fantasy Cosmetica launch on my next week's video. But I'm gonna be putting the sneak peeks already here, so you are aware that I know that those are coming, but just because I do have to just choose, I have limited spaces when I can film, so I couldn't wait anymore for those ones. But what were the interesting launches? I have to say the Nomad Cosmetics like palette, that is something that is calling me in my dreams for some reason, even though it is a muted green palette. But this shows that I can apparently still get interested in also sort of like unordinary color stories, at least for my personal preferences, because I think we all know that my preferences have been quite heavily leaning towards like pastels, pinks, and then neutrals, so that's where I'm kind of with my color story preferences these days. But yeah, but I would also love to know what were your sort of favorites from this video, or if there was a release that I for some reason missed, then do comment if there was something that you think that I should have absolutely talked about. If you like this video, push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell button if you want to get notifications from future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, on Instagram. I hope I can see you in the video. Bye bye!